have one, let me know. So, first thing you have to do when you're making a job posting, and there is a huge cost involved with job postings, is to have somebody in HR talk with any or all of the managers that are going to be involved. Okay, so when we figure out some costs, I even brought a calculator this time. When we figure them out, we're going to talk as if there's two managers that had to amalgamate one job. Okay, so usually it's about an hour with each manager. Can be longer, can be a little shorter, depending upon how the manager's, relaying the information and that type of thing. So once this HR person has gathered all the information, they have to create the posting. And it is actually very creative to do this. I've had to create a job posting once, and I really enjoyed it, and I used a resource that you can get through our website, actually, National Occupational Classification. It's Government of Canada publication that I'm not sure when the first time they brought it out, but if anybody's had to immigrate to a position here in Canada, my understanding is they have to know their NOC code. It's a 4-digit code. So it's a pretty cool publication, and I like it for helping students create resumes because the wording in it for a bulleted point is perfect. You can't do any better. So yeah, you can actually cheat and copy and paste. And once they create the posting, they have to send it back to each of the managers they dealt with, as well as probably a president or some higher up, just to make sure that they get their approval from there too. And then after the approval, they have to put the posting somewhere where people will see it. So LinkedIn is one possibility right now for employers. They have to pay to do that. Indeed.ca actually collects from Monsters, Workopolis, and any other type of site like that, and they amalgamate them into one site. So if you haven't heard of Indeed.ca, that's a great place to start looking for what might be out there and what companies are hiring. Executive search firms is another way, and newspapers. But you're going to find that in newspapers, I'll just get you to sign in, please, and grab a form, feedback form. The newspapers are generally not going to be great jobs that they advertise on a daily basis. There's going to be like maybe a chambermaid for hotels or somebody in that industry, barkeep, that type of thing. Once a week, most papers will put in a career section. So those are the higher up jobs, those are the engineers, the things that you wouldn't see on a daily basis. So that does cost money, and I think it's getting less and less, but I think newspapers are on their way out. So that's just my opinion. But what I really want to point out is the company website, because even though you own the website, somebody has to work that website. So there is a cost involved. And in business, you're going to find there's a cost involved with everything. So I've actually got this on paper for you because we're going to actually do some calculating. Maybe you could pass those out. Anybody ever heard of a temporary office placement agency? Sometimes they're called Girl Friday, sometimes they're called...
more often just abbreviated to temp agencies.
The temp agencies. So what they do is you can register with them, they get a resume from you, and they start looking for positions for you, in that when a company contacts them and looks for somebody that's just like you, they will send you for an interview to that company, or maybe even just send you to have a day of work there to see how you work out. What people don't realize is that you're being paid by that temp agency. You're on their payroll. So you've actually applied for a job with the temp agency. They then source you out to the bigger companies or whoever needs you. And if they're paying you $10 an hour, just say, they're probably paying or charging for that service about $20 an hour. And then when you find that out, or you find out that the person sitting right beside you doing the exact same job but working for the company makes more money than you get all upset and start to complain to somebody like me, who sits there and listens till you're done and then says, well, yeah, because you don't understand the costs involved with the temp agency. They, and everybody that puts you on their payroll, has to match what you pay in CPP. They match it, and they send that to the government. In EI, they send 1.4% of what you're paying. There's workers' comp, which can range anywhere in Alberta, anyway, that I've done my research, from 50 cents per $100 of payroll to up to $6 per $100 of payroll. It's higher in Ontario. Holiday pay is 4 to 6%. If you're getting 2 weeks, it's 4%. If you're getting 3 weeks, it's 6%. It could be more. And then benefits, which we average about 25% of payroll costs goes to the benefits. So there's reasons that they have to charge the employer that you're going to go work for more. And it's usually anywhere from about 12 to 15% higher. And so that's why your wage is lower, okay? Because they'd have to pay it, the employer would have to pay it to you, right? And then of course there's administrative costs. So anybody making $100,000 is actually charging out about $51.98, $52 an hour. So when you ask somebody in business that's making $100,000 a year for an hour of their time, they're actually giving you $50, okay? Figure out what your cost is worth, because your cost is worth something. Your time is worth something. And when you can figure out, well, if I was working in the field I want to be in right now, and this is what I would expect to be paid, figure out your hourly wage, and that's what your time is worth. Okay? Any questions on that? Any questions on this component? Okay. Is it big to you? Can you get that? Especially the workers' comp. Workers' comp, to me, is amazing. If you have 2,000 employees and you add up what any of these could be making in the period of a year, it's per $100. So the cost to a business is huge. And then if there's a claim, bad news. There's a reason that the companies will put outside, post how many accidents they've had in so many days, okay? It's because their workers' comp rates are good if they don't have accidents. They're not good if they do.